Hi, this is Dr. P to talk briefly about something I really believe in, which is one-page cheat sheets, or more formally, rule and play summaries for tabletop games and perhaps even for video games. I think they're really useful. Most games just aren't simple enough to have just one page of rules. If you try to reduce it to one page of rules, you'll end up with a mess. Even mass market games often go to 2 pages. Richard Borg said at Gen Con one time, if you're going to do a mass market game, the game can't be more than 2 pages of rules. And that's generally true. There's generally a strong tendency in gaming to really simple games, often more like party games than real games, but rarely can those rules be fit in one page. Certainly in my case, I rarely design a game that's so simple that it won't benefit from a one-page game summary for each player. It's important for each player, I think, not just one copy. My experience is that many players will actually read one page of rules if each one has a copy. Whereas if the full rule book is around, not many will want to look at it. Now think about it. If you want to summarize the main rules of play, you can say an awful lot in one page. I would not include the setup rules because the setup is only the first part of the game, and you can look that up in the rules themselves and then rely on the summary thereafter. You can't cover everything, so you got to leave something out, and that's why I tend to leave out the setup. But you can cover, say, 70 to 90% of the rules for many games. And they're relatively easy to write because often you can use the actual excerpts from the rules. Now when you do this, don't use tiny print. Stick to 10 points or more if you can. And be sure to say the rules override anything in the game summary. Because unfortunately it's easy to screw up either while you're developing the game or when it's published and there's an error in the summary. And also, I emphasize again, I think you should have a one-page summary for each player. Unfortunately, publishers don't always go along with this. I think sometimes they're just too cheap to include it, and I think that's a big mistake. In a way, the one-page summary is an intermediate step to the online how-to-play videos so common these days. But often the how-to-play videos don't cost the publisher anything, whereas the one-page summary, several copies inside the game, costs the publisher money. I'm going to show you 2 examples on the next page. On the left side, we have the Player's Aid for Pacific Convoy, a World War II air naval game that is vaguely related to Stratego. And on the right, we have the Empire Characteristics Summary for a prototype called Eurasia, although the published name is likely to be different. Now, this on the right side is not a game summary. It's a listing taken from the rules to help players understand varying powers. There's also a separate game summary. Notice I use smaller print on the right, but that is the actual excerpt from the rules rather than a summary. I think you should try the one-page summary and see if your players actually refer to it as many of mine do. Thanks for listening.